Harold Shipman.
Murder on the retirement cruise.
Because you can't really see your own nose, can you?
Well, it is a cruise for old people. They probably have a more.
I got your nose.
I really enjoy an old person, when you can see their head through their hair.
Nose.
Getting your fucking tallywhacker out and having a jolly good rogering.
Oh, Maggie Smith.
I knew one of these other bastards had my nose and I just had to keep killing them. Zimmer frame down the river. The cruise is out there.
Hello everybody, welcome to Coming This Summer. I am Luke Illingworth and I have Drew Woolnough.
Good morning everyone.
And Ross Lane.
Hello.
Hello mate, you alright? I can't see you, Ross.
Boy!
But I can hear you.
I heard that echo.
That?
There he is.
I had the distortion of that coming through Skype and it echoed down the hallway as well. Like the scream of a banshee.
Yeah, just everything on my laptop just went red.
Well, red's the good colour, isn't it, for sound? Red means it sounds sick. Sounds wicked.
Yeah, wicked, mate. Right, I have an idea, but I have some problems with it, which I need your help.
Oh.
So I started listening to this new podcast, and it's called The Evolution of Horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite good. It's just a guy talking about the evolution of horror films. But
Yeah.
He's on. He's talking about slasher films at the moment. It's quite good. He does it in chapters, so he's sort of doing. I've only listened to 2 episodes. So he's done like the introduction of slasher, like what are they, and then he's done like the first ones, which is like Psycho and Peeping Tom. And it made me think we should make a slasher film.
Oh, yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, we haven't really done that. The closest we've got to that was our psychological thriller called Friends the Movie.
That
was as close as we got, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
The first series classic, Friends the Movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea of doing it sort of kind of like a whodunit. Kind of like Scream, like because like you've got like Halloween and all that stuff where it's not really a whodunit. It's sort of just it's some monster that's killing people.
It's not who done it. It's being done it.
Yeah.
Being done it.
It's
being here.
Seeing it being done it.
But I like the kind of Scooby-Doo reveal at the end. Oh my God, it's this guy.
Oh my God, it's old man Withers who runs the rundown amusement park.
Yeah. So the things I was thinking about, I was trying to think. I wanted to change the rules a little bit because the survivor is normally a lady, a young
Usually
girl,
a virginal girl.
Yes. So, and I get that because it's sort of like innocence, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like innocence. Innocence survives.
Yeah.
So instead of just making it another virginal girl, I was thinking let's make it old people.
Old people.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Because traditionally the slasher genre as well is a teen genre as well, isn't it? It's usually a killer picking up. So do you want to go the full reverse and go maybe our reveal is a teenager picking off old people?
Yeah.
So it's like a full slasher reverse.
Yeah, we could do that.
But are the old people still sneaking out by the bike shed, smoking pot by the school, and sort of and having house parties at the retirement home with cups of red beer? So they still. So basically, how we reverse it is we literally just recast them as old people, but we write them as teenagers.
Yeah.
So the old people are going to school as well.
Yeah.
So it's literally just substituting young people for old people. That's all it is.
Potentially, or it might be more interesting to try and figure out what would a genuine geriatric slasher film look like. What would be the new tropes?
Harold Shipman.
Ooh.
Is that our main character?
I guess it could be. I mean, that would essentially be a geriatric slasher film.
He could be like the red herring. I was thinking where we could place this was on a boat, on a cruise ship.
A saga cruise.
So then there's only like a finite amount of people that it could be. But if you put it in the
So
world,
it's-
it could
it's-
be anyone. But it's only someone that's on this boat.
It's going down the route of like a tradition. It's like a fucking Agatha Christie novel or something.
Well, that was partly what I was thinking. I was thinking of like, and then there were none.
There's murder on the retirement cruise.
Yeah.
Murder around the Florida Keys.
Yeah.
But it should be like something ridiculous, like they're using a chainsaw to do it, or something like really fucking stupid.
Something that isn't subtle and like everyone.
Yeah.
The only reason it's subtle is because when they go to sleep, all the old people have their hearing aids out, so they can't hear.
Oh, exactly. So they can
chainsaw.
they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can act with impunity.
I'm just imagining that. That'd be a great scene because we have the classic horror stealth, the stealth kill, but it's got the added thing of it being a chainsaw, and the added tension is that the audience is screaming at the screen for the old person to hear it, but they just can't. They've literally just taken their hearing aid out, and we just have the whole scene play out like a classic stealth horror film in the dark in the bedroom, and you're like, oh, he's sneaking up, but in the background there's this.
We could keep cutting to like. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say it's like really slow and brooding, like you know, like you'd have like the shadow of someone with a knife, and that is actually the shadow of someone like revving a chainsaw, and it's deafeningly loud, but like it's just completely filmed like it's silent.
You can keep cutting to sort of like the POV of the old person, and you could just hear, and that's like the sound. That's all that they can hear.
Oh yeah. Oh, damn, Sineadus is playing up again.
That's banging her ear, and then it could like switch on or something, and then she hears. That's
the last thing you hear.
Yeah.
And then they actually die of a heart attack.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the killer's MO. He's just trying to give them all heart attacks.
He's trying to scare all. Maybe like our killer. Maybe like the killer's like granddad or grandmum could be on the ferry, or could be the first kill. And what it was is that, you know, sometimes like you got a cheeky uncle or a cheeky grandpa likes to kind of like play tricks on kids. Is like instead of games, you might play tricks and sort of scare the kid a little bit and go, oh, that shouldn't scare you. So I used to do this back in the day. But this kid was so traumatized by little tricks that their granddad used to play on people that he hates. Like literally hates all old people for this and thinks that, you know, ties them the same brush, and then so his method of killing them is to try and scare them to death because of the trauma that he faced as a child, or he or she faced as a child.
I just thought of something great, kind of got on the same length as that. What is the kid? He's trying to get his nose back. Because his granddad did the got your nose trick.
And oh my god! Imagine if they when they find the old people's bodies, then they have like a missing nose, or their ears are stuffed with coins and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. And it's like he starts like the killer starts killing like the granddad, but and then like, you know, when we get the whodunit and find out who it is, they're like babbling about like, okay, it only started as one kill, but he didn't have my nose. I knew one of these other bastards had my nose, and I just had to keep killing.
You could have a
collected noses
where, say, the killer kills his granddad, his granddad, and then once he kills him, he could be like searching the body, going, "Where is it? Where is it?" like that, and then the granddad isn't quite dead, and he's like, "You'll never find it." And then you can tell him that he's hid it somewhere on the boat, and then that's why he has to kill everyone.
Yeah, was there like a granddad is so committed to he doesn't want to let even though he's dying, he doesn't want to let that kind of magic, that hold he has over the child, the sort of the fact that this grown adult still believes in the magic, that the little crappy magic trick he did, like he wants to preserve that in the cost of his life. It's like, I will never tell the truth. I want you to, even though you're committing horrendous crimes for this, at least you still believe in something magical in the world.
So I imagine like the killer in the end would be like maybe one of the crew or something, because you can't know that it's the grandson yet.
Yeah,
and you don't know that he's looking for his nose.
They could maybe be like one of the kind of junior like crew members, like sort of who just like maybe has a fairly background job, but We meet every now and then, but it's not the first mate or the captain or something. It's not even necessarily the navigator, but it's one of the other people in that kind of room. An assistant, maybe even. That'd be quite good.
Well, because a kind of issue I had was because obviously old people aren't that fast, are they?
No.
So how do we make this sort of like a intense?
Well, that adds to the tension of it, because the slasher genre is always sort of criticized or taken the piss out of, because like Michael Myers or like the Mummy or whoever it may be, or Jason, like the people in front of them are running away, literally running, and then every time you cut back, he's walking. So this actually evens the playing field, because they're actually it takes away some of the suspension of disbelief, because they're moving at the same speed.
Yeah, that's good.
They're limp. They don't have to. Our old person doesn't have to trip over some stupid thing that the audience just goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" They've already got a bum hip. They've already got like like arthritis, so they have to. And it's not in the killer's interest to run after them, if we want to get the logic of that, because like the longer it takes, the more scared they get.
That's true, yeah.
So he wouldn't because you could argue that a younger killer would run in and just get it done quickly, but if they want to kind of, if we have the added thing, we have the nose thing, but have maybe as a kind of sub reason that kind of the fact that it scared and traumatized him, like he wants to get his nose back, but he wants to do it through fear, because losing his nose was traumatic and like scared the shit out of him. So in getting his nose back, he's going to scare them to death with his chainsaw. I don't know why I thought of this, but either as a captain or maybe as a detective who's on the cruise, is gonna like a Poirot, a detective who's just on the cruise and has to solve the thing. For some reason,
it could be one of the old people.
Yeah, but for some reason, I didn't go too old. I thought a little like not really that old. I guess she's 50s, but I thought of Gillian Anderson for some reason.
Oh yeah,
like Scully. Like I just had that picture in my head. That would be quite cool as a hero of this.
Oh yeah, I'm into that. I just started watching X-Files again.
Oh really?
Yeah, so I'm massively into that, mate.
Oh, fucking sick. I don't know if she should.
So why is she on the boat?
I don't know.
I guess it's a cruise ship, isn't it?
It's a cruise ship. Yeah,
it's maybe well-deserved time off.
Yeah.
Maybe she's gone on with her like grandmother or something like that, or like a family member who's older, and maybe it's like there's like a sort of not a running gag, but a kind of thing where she's kind of at first kind of it's slightly comedic and light, and she's kind of resentful because she thought the cruise would be a bit more balanced, and she gets on there and she's constantly joking about it was just old, it's just retirement.
She's the youngest person
on the boat, she's the youngest, but that's the kind of running joke. Other than the crew, she's the youngest person on the boat. So there's maybe we could have like, I know it's a bit cliche, we could come up with a better reason, but like her great aunt or her grandmother or granddad, whatever, has convinced her to come on this cruise because she's either recently divorced or she's been divorced for maybe quite some time but not been dating, and this is like a pestering, kind of relative. He wants to fix. He's like, I'm going to get you on the cruise because you'll meet. I always meet so many interesting people on the cruise. You'd love it. Like, you should come on. She comes on for that reason. Then she's like, for fuck's sake, there's everyone's about 30 years older than me on this cruise. That's kind of the impetus, the kind of resentful start of the film, and then obviously, like from there, she has to end up kind of saving these people. I don't know, but.
Saving these people that she utterly hates.
She utterly is the contempt of the, because she resents them for no real reason other than the fact that she's insecure and worried about her position in the world as maybe in her 50s divorcee, and she's worried that she'll die alone, and so she sees a lot of these kind of widowers and older people, and she's like she resents them not for who they are but because she thinks she's going to end up that age with no one. So there's like a no reason, there's just a kind of general resentment that she has to get over and kind of get over her insecurity about it, that she can meet someone. Maybe she can meet someone on the way, I don't know. Maybe that might be too much, I think. Maybe she can spark something with the captain but he dies, just an added little fucking ring. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't even die at the hands of the killer.
She really gets close to old Larry, the wizened old man down the hall, and
yeah,
she sneaks into his cabin for a late night brandy and finds him with his Zimmer frame like wrapped around his neck.
I was going to say, like, it could be interesting if she falls for old Larry down the hall, and we have a kind of we have a Superman 78 moment. And what I mean by that is there's the, in well, I don't know if you remember it very well, but in the first Superman, there's a lesson that young Clark must learn is that you can't save everyone, and that his like he's out running and Pa Kent has a heart attack, and obviously Superman could do all these amazing things, but he can't stop. That's one thing he can't stop the time. But we have that. It's not quite that message, but we have like she kind of, or maybe not even falls for someone, but she sparks up a friendship, and that could potentially be more with old Larry or the captain, who's kind of more her age, and they die not at the hands of the killer. Like they die of something like a heart attack or something sudden. Kind of
they die at that old age.
Well, no, the thing is they're not that old, and the lesson is that she's been so fixated on like this kind of withering away and aging. The lesson is that life is kind of precious and she needs to seize the moment. Like,
carpe diem.
I mean, like it could come for them at any time. It could be just a nice little wrinkle. This will get a bit serious.
Wrinkle.
It's comedy. Yes,
wrinkle.
Wrinkly like a crinkly bottom.
Well, I was thinking of a character on there. What would you say is the sort of age where you're like officially like an old person?
It's getting later and later. It's maybe like
I
think it's more when a certain activity starts to happen or doesn't.
Yeah, well, because the only thing I'm thinking of an age
control
is because retirement age is 60, isn't it?
65, I thought. I think
65.
And 65, Jesus Christ!
I think it's going up as well because people like generally. Well, they just
don't have any money.
Don't have any. They're just splitting them for money.
Because my mum and dad are 60, and they're not old people,
No, it's
so I don't think it's 60.
Yeah.
Maybe
I think it's like
75, maybe.
It's like in your 70s now, or as Ross said, it's kind of when like some people age like in their 60s feel older if they've got maybe more ailments and stuff. But I'd say it's in your 70s.
You look at some people in their like late 40s and they look like they could be considered old people, but then you look at other people in their late 40s and it's like they look and act younger than we do.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think for old women, it's whenever you start dyeing your hair blue. That's when you're officially an old woman. I don't think that happens anymore, does it? I remember there used to be fucking thousands of them, blue-haired old women.
I haven't noticed this phenomenon. Blue-haired old women.
It's so fucking funny.
So specific.
Back when my mum used to be a hairdresser, apparently she used to do fucking loads of old women's hair. They'd have a perm and then they'd fucking have it dyed pink or blue. I mean, what the fuck is that about? So funny. All these young whippersnappers these days thinking they're radical because they're dyeing their hair blue. Well, let me tell you. They were doing it before it was cool.
I remember once I was talking to someone and she like loves old women. Like she thought they were great. I was like, what? So what is it about old women you like? She went, I like that you can see their head through their hair.
I like that. What? Why is that a thing?
That's the main characteristic of enjoying their company.
I really enjoy an old person, when you can see their head through their hair. Spot on.
I don't like there to be too little hair. If I can see through it without having to really work for it, then I don't get much out of the relationship. But if if it's that right level of I have to kind of
something,
a right level of mystery to the scalp, the sort of at the hazy, seeing through the hazy factor of hair to the wrinkly scalp.
Oh
my god,
that's bizarre. That was a bizarre statement.
It was the weirdest conversation I've ever had in my life.
I'm not surprised.
But what I was thinking of with this age is that, say 75. I'm sorry to any 75-year-olds out there.
Yes,
the 75-year-old fans of our podcast.
There's someone on a boat who's 74, and for their birthday, they decided to go on a cruise.
Yeah.
So there's a point where they turn 75, so they're officially an old person.
They should like basically hop, skipping and jumping onto the ship, and then when they get on the ship or when they turn 75, there's something like, ooh, my back. Oh
like
God,
that.
it's happening already. Hold me, George. Oh.
You know that on Harry Enfield where Kevin turns into a teenager.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
gonna-
It's
It'd
like,
be like that.
I was getting ready for my birthday. Oh, what do you mean?
Could be like that. So this old person turns 75, and you're seeing their hair starts turning purple, and their back starts like
arching over.
It sounds it's really ratcheting down as it like fucking as their back just fucking curls.
It becomes almost
like a coiling finger.
Yeah, it becomes like the cracking of the back and the vertebrae. It becomes like a ticking clock, a countdown to old age. It's like, until they're kind of bent over like an armadillo.
Oh, Jesus.
A Zimmer framed armadillo. Poor old people.
Poor old people.
Poor old people.
Listen.
All right, I think we need to, I guess, finalize the plot, but I think we should come up with some more fun and interesting kills and things that kind of, because we're talking about doing a slasher film and subverting the teenage sort of tropes. What are the tropes in the teen slasher films that we can then find their geriatric equivalent?
Well, if we go by the Scream rules, it's if you have sex.
You die. Don't
it could
say
be a
I'll
randy
be
old
back.
man.
Be a randy old man.
Old man. He gets it.
Maybe the randy old man doesn't. Maybe the randy old man doesn't get it. It's about kind of not having a. Now in this age, it's about not being too much of a prude about it, or too disgusted by old people still have needs. Like when you get to that age, you don't want to be judged for just getting your fucking tallywhacker out and having a jolly good Roger in. You want to be doing it fucking willy-nilly. Also, the big one is you can't say "I'll be right back." We could have a joke in it where they say where they're talking maybe Scream like about what you can't like, because now it's old enough. Scream's old enough that there are old people who were young when Scream came out, so they're talking about Scream for reference, and they're saying,
like in that film we watched.
Yeah, they're trying to remember the line, and maybe for ages they're trying to remember what it says, and then someone says, it's like, you can't say, I remember now, you can't say I'll be right back. And someone goes like, what are you, or you'll be killed, and be like, no, I'll be right back. That's tempting fate. You won't necessarily be killed by the slasher. You might just die. You're old enough. I'll be right back. You might just go and have a heart attack. That's more likely. Philip.
Why couldn't one of the sayings be like, I'm off to bed now?
I'm off to empty my catheter bag.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Has anyone seen my walking stick? And when they go off to find it, that's when they get picked up.
Yeah, exactly.
There could be a what they call those little buggies that they have.
Mobility scooters.
Scooters. There could be a chase.
There could be a car chase.
Yeah, yes. Mobility scooter chase.
I think it might be Scream 2 where someone I can't remember who it was, but someone's like trapped in a car, like with the killer trying. I mean, it's just a classic.
Oh yeah,
they're
like
as well. They're
climbing
trapped
over
in the car, and obviously they're trying to break the windows. And there's like, I think it's probably a convertible top. So like, oh shit, we have some of those mobility scooters that have the the fucking waterproof. They have the sort of waterproof.
Oh
box
yeah.
Like, so it's not quite like a car roof and fit the window, but it's like that. And then we can have a scene where someone's hidden from the slasher in one of those, and we have the equivalent thing. Obviously, then they can just topple it over. They sort of run and they go, "Oh, gotta get in there," and they get up and zip it up, and then the slasher just slowly walks up, and just tips them over.
Well, that would be a cool shot there, because like the glass in that, it's like that weird sort of see-through plastic. So you can see the killer walking over, but it's like really distorted and stuff.
Yeah,
so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking what the killer should do. So, as far as everyone knows, these old people are just dying of natural causes. But I reckon the killer should be taking their noses.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's just collecting noses.
But will they be collecting noses by cutting them off, or will they just go up to them and like do what their granddad is, put their thing? So all of them, so it's really subtle, but all they have is like an indentation where
there's got to be something left behind, isn't there?
No, he's taken their thumbs. He's taken their thumbs, and they're like, "Why is the killer already taking their thumbs?" And he's like, "He's not taking their thumbs. He's taking their noses."
Yeah. As I say, like,
but I don't understand. But then there's a really serious scene where he like demonstrate, or they just demonstrate it on whoever's like investigated.
What is this heresy? What is this magic? But like you could have had maybe you can take the thumbs as well, but they have. If you had it so he did the thing, like they go up with their 2 fingers and squeeze the nose and pull it off. that leaves a bruised
like a red mark,
yeah. So that how they you have to find the killer by, it's not fingerprints, it's knuckle prints. It's very specific index and middle finger knuckle prints that you have to fit like, and we have it so people are testing it like the killer. They've arrested, because they always have the bit where they arrest the wrong person, don't they? They arrest the wrong killer. Maybe he's confessed, or maybe like the evidence seems to have stacked up against, because this guy's framing like the captain or something, like say that. And we have a really stupid bit where Scully's in the ferry, the cruise ship morgue. I don't know why they have a morgue, but they have a morgue. They've set up
it is a cruise for old people. They probably have a morgue.
They've got a pre-made morgue, but he's in the morgue and it's talking to. Maybe it's in the freezer in like the kitchen, because that's all they've got available.
Yeah.
And it's the chef is the one who's done it. It's played by a young Steven Seagal, but he's just talking to her, and then he slips on the floor, and then puts his hands up to steady them, but he accidentally puts his 2. Because he's so used to making that motion with his fingers, he puts that down, and he lands perfectly on the face of the first victim, and he slots in, and you hear the click, and Scully just suddenly goes, "You." That's our big reveal. Is suddenly then fucking inner knuckles slot onto the killer's face.
It's like Cinderella's slipper.
Exactly, yeah. And it makes a real sort of, when you click the cartilage of your nose, it makes a big and go, "It was you." And then we go in the big Scooby-Doo monologue.
Yeah, like the big backstory.
Yeah.
So this guy, he spent his whole life thinking he doesn't have a nose. So how is he dealing with that?
He's always got.
What has he done? He's got like a prosthetic one on, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a prosthetic nose, but when they take it off, he just has a normal nose underneath.
Or maybe he just, because you can't really see your own nose, can you? Maybe he just really thinks he's ugly. This is the thing. He keeps thinking he doesn't want people to keep looking at him, and but everyone else is fine. They don't know anything like that, but he just thinks he doesn't have a nose, but has never looked in a mirror because he doesn't want to see himself.
So ashamed.
He's so ashamed of himself because he's got no nose.
The end. So we have the chase at the end after the reveal, and Scully's tracking him down and stuff. And like the bits, like we subvert the kind of big fight at the end. Maybe he's got her on the floor and he's gonna kill her. He's gonna get her nose, and she grabs like a shiny. Because it's in the kitchen, she grabs like a shiny pan or something like that, or like a tray, and like holds it in front of him, and like, "Look, you have a nose," and then he looks and he goes, "No, I don't,
nose.
I'm beautiful. I'm not ugly. I'm beautiful," and it distracts him long enough that she can like knock him out or stuff. He has like this big kind of tender moment.
Yeah, it could be like in the back of a spoon, so that his nose looks massive because it's sort of bent in, and so his nose looks fucking huge.
He literally loses his mind because he's just like, no, it's not true. You're a liar. You're a liar.
No, nose. No.
Oh no. Yeah. What he does is he gets a spoon and he thinks he's so deluded. He thinks it's not true, and he thinks he has nothing there. He's like, I've got no nose. See, and he starts spooning at the nose, and he actually cuts his own nose off by spooning it off because he's trying to prove that it's flat. There's nothing there, and he rips his own nose off at the end. That's the ending.
That is good. But what if she shows him his nose in the spoon? And then she licks the inside of the spoon and sticks it on his nose, you know? And then he's just walking around with a spoon balanced on his nose. And he's just going, oh my God, this is the big moment where he realised. And then he flips out because he can't handle it because he's just killed all these people.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
His nose.
For no reason.
I love that.
Mate.
That's good, yeah. And she has like a line where if he is the chef, he goes like, how do you think you cook food? You need a sense of smell to cook. How did you think you were able to cook something that tasted good? I just thought,
what the hell is wrong with you?
Really well developed taste buds.
Who should we have in this film? Because it's just going to be a whole bunch of old people.
So we got Scully.
Scully's, yeah.
We need the youngish killer, what, in their 20s or something like that, 20s or 30s maybe.
Well, Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera. Like, we haven't given him a lead role for a while. I think we should.
You don't want him too much in the film, do you? Because it's got to be someone in the background that you see every now and then.
Yeah. When he pops up, we should see him as a Michael Cera type comedy character.
Yeah.
So we think he's just like a side comedy, George Michael sort of awkward character.
Yeah.
He ends up being a killer because no one would suspect George Michael.
No.
George Michael Bluth. So who else do we need? So we need a good cast of maybe Scully's, let's say like great aunt or grandmother. That'd be good. A few prominent. We could have a lot of faceless deaths, but maybe a couple of other prominent older like people on there who are helping Scully. Three like older actors and maybe a captain or something like that, because she'll probably be dealing with the captain. Yeah. Maybe she can have a heart like the captain's kind of a bit Die Hard too when he's in the airport and there's like the security chief who's kind of this isn't your jurisdiction. You shouldn't, you should just leave this to the professionals. But by the end, he's warm to old John McClane, the captain, warm to old Scully's ways. Yeah. And they're teamed up.
So who would the captain be?
The captain doesn't have to be as old, but someone distinct, I think.
Scully's age.
Sort of Scully's age.
What about David Duchovny?
David Duchovny.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm really down with that. That's fine.
I'm fully sold on this idea.
Yeah, and that's fun because the captain can be the skeptic in this as well.
Yeah,
and she could be the believer.
So I'm just looking up over 70s actors, and the first one that come up, I'm thinking should be the first kill.
Yeah,
is the granddad of the fucking Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fucking sick way to start. You kill old Clint. I got your nose. 25 years ago. I ain't gonna give it back now, son. What about can we have a really happy granddad and we have Jim Broadbent?
Yeah.
Lovely old Jim Broadbent. Oh, hello.
A little bear.
It's a little bear. He keeps calling Scully my little bear. Oh, how are you, my little bear?
Well, maybe it's not a great aunt, it's a great uncle, and it's
great Uncle Jim.
It's him.
We call him Great Uncle Jim.
Okay, right.
Why not Judi Dench? Judi Dench would be good.
I thought there's Judi Dench.
Person.
You could have Maggie Smith.
Oh, Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith.
Danny DeVito. How old's
shit!
Danny DeVito.
He'd have to play it like really super fucking deadpan, like.
Yeah, he could be one of the early kills, like the sort of second or third, kind of skeptic, and we kill off the big name. And like, oh shit, he can be the one that dies in the mobility scooter with the waterproof cover over it.
He's 73.
Yeah. Well, he's 73.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Well, there we go. That's just more like that's That like exactly what we were saying about how it's not how old you are, it's how you act. There you go.
He does not act 73.
Absolutely not.
A trope of the old slasher films is that they would have like mid-20-year-olds playing teenagers. So if we do the other way around, we could have like 50-year-olds playing really old.
Playing 80-year-olds.
Yeah, playing 80-year-olds.
Yeah, totally. That would be great.
Apart from the ones we've already got.
Yeah. And maybe Michael Cera can be playing a younger person. It's like it would make more like as well. The logic would make more sense if they're in like their 20s or 30s, like he is. But he's playing like a 16-year-old busboy or like an assistant chef. He's playing really young.
I'm thinking either John Carpenter to direct or Wes Craven.
I think like John Carpenter.
I think Wes Craven might have died.
Oh, is he?
He might not be. I think he died last year. I think.
Let's have a look.
Double check.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recall hearing something along those sorts of lines.
Yeah, I thought either you go for I think John Carpenter's probably pretty good. The other one that popped in my head, I don't know if he's still about though, is John McTiernan, who did Die Hard. Yeah, you play up kind of the claustrophobic aspect of it. He can make the real, or we get the director of Under Siege. Steven Seagal should be in there. Steven Seagal can be one of the retired, like, because he's quite old now.
How old is he? Let's see how old he is.
Or maybe he can just make a cameo as the head chef.
But he's 65.
So he could be Scully's love interest. Nah, she can do better.
Why doesn't he could just play Steven Seagal.
This is an idea.
He's a copper now, isn't
he? Yeah, he could be the kind of the security on the boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought we could, because these sometimes do have famous people. We could have famous. The original thing I thought was, what is an old band that could be on? Because you have like the Weezer Cruise and the Motley Cruise. You have it's like a famous band that are like in their 60s or 70s. So we have like the Rolling Stones on the fucking thing, or just like an old, really like for a cameo of a famous band is just on the. They're just part of the group that are trying to stop it all, like going, because Scully's sort of. Because they're always, it's really stupid with those kind of like detective stories, or like say like the kind of on a boat on a train thing. The expert always ends up just for no reason kind of advising with people that they randomly met 5 seconds ago, and they're acting like they're best friends and stuff. So she's assembled this motley crew of like her great uncle Jim, Judi Dench, and the Rolling Stones, and Steven Seagal. And David Duchovny, obviously, who's a bit of a grouch, but he comes around. We can end the film with him doing a Scully X-Files. Isn't it this Scully? It always ends an episode of the X-Files with Scully typing her old computer and narrating. We end with David Duchovny doing that in an old computer in his study on the ferry, talking about what happened.
Hey, I love it. What do you want to call this film?
Something that has to be a really terrible pun.
Just trying to think of granddad jokes. My granddad would say that this isn't really a joke, but he told me that because I went to Poland on holiday once, and he told me that they didn't have like change money, so they would just give you change in sweets. They only had notes, and I was like, "Oh wow, can I believe it?"
That's fucking ridiculous.
The cruise is out there.
The cruise.
Cruising for a bruising.
Well, that could be the tagline.
Because the bruises are what gives it away. So.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something we could do. Ask the fans to send in some example titles, and we could make films about the titles they send in.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that would be good. Or we do it again, like we were saying about the Poirot thing. You make it something like Murder on the Geriatric Cruise or something like that. Make it like a play on a sort of Agatha Christie novel name or something.
Yeah. Why don't we, on this boat somewhere, put Tom Cruise? Or it could just be his boat.
It could be the Tom Cruise.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise, and it's just called Murder on the Tom Cruise.
So the boat is called Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Is it like the christened name of the cruise ship is the cruise ship Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Murder on the Tom Cruise.
But we should have a cameo from the famous cruisers like Penelope Cruz and Terry Crews and Tom Cruise should all cameo at some point on the cruise ship. They're all together
all of the cruises.
They're in the cruise lounge bar, and it's just everyone has got their name Cruise.
That's what they do. That's what they do in their spare time.
They just hop around from to VIP ships constantly. Now I'm the granddad. Yeah, what are the sponsors? Now you're the granddad.
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 Oh,
Granddad.
We call it Nan Grandead. Granddad.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I think that's it.
Perfect.
Oh no. Is it Nan Granddad?
I think that's the best we can do right now.
Yeah. Send your suggestions to Coming This Pod on Twitter.
Alright. So
Oh my god.
coming this summer. Nan and Granddad.
Oh man.
Oh shit, I was Ryan.
Hello, Drew Woolnough here, and I would like to read you the following information that I think you would find very interesting. You can stay in contact with Coming This Summer in a variety of ways via the interweb. You can follow us on Twitter at ComingThisPod, or possibly, if it's your bag, you can follow us on Facebook at Coming This Summer Podcast. And then there is our main hub, the Podbean site, comingthissummer.podbean.com. Also, iTunes is another way that you could enjoy this quality podcast. You can download us there. We are in the podcast section under the name of our podcast. Once again, that name is Coming This Summer. If you would be so kind as to leave us a review and let us know that we are doing well, or if we are not doing well, let us also know that information. That would be very, 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 very welcome to us and our ears and brains. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to pitch movies for you again in the future if you would be so kind as to come back to listen to us. Bye.